All right, a nice mixed bean salad. A beautiful, tasty, nourishing and refreshing summer salad. And it's also got quite a lot of protein in it because it's the base of it is mixed beans. I just use a can of mixed beans, standard can of mixed beans in water, which I drain off. And I also use a can of sweet corn. I like quite a lot of sweet corn, so I put a full can of that in. You can get half cans, but I prefer this size. And also I'm using a reasonable measure of petit pois. Now these are already cooked and frozen, and all I do with those is defrost them, and that's it. I don't cook them, I just leave them as they are and they go straight into the salad. To give it a little bit more refreshing, I add some cucumber, I add some red sweet pepper, some sweet capsicum. For a bit of savoury flavour, I add some spring onions or scallions or chive, depending where you are in the world. And for an extra refreshing kick, I add some mint. Now, there's a kind of mental block in Britain where people think mint can only be served with lamb or with new potatoes, but I kind of like it in this delicious salad, and if you try it, I guarantee you will too. Right, for additional flavourings, I'm going to use some nice whole grain mustard. It's a bit like the French whole grain mustard, this one. And I'm using some mayonnaise, and just to thin the mayonnaise down a bit, I'm going to use some cider vinegar and a little bit of water, because I don't want it too thick. Alright, so it's really just a matter of assembling all these things and getting them going. So I'll clear the decks and then we'll start, shall we? Okay, you'll see I've emptied the whole can of sweet corn into there and left the liquid in there with it. It's great flavoured liquid. It's only water that has been canned along with the product, and it has a fantastic taste, so I'm leaving that in, and that will be the water element for this dish. Right, the next thing I want to get in is the peas. It doesn't matter if the peas are slightly frozen, because they will melt when everything else goes into it. And it's really just a case of putting everything in it. In goes the cucumber. Here goes the sweet peppers, the capsicums. In goes the spring onions. They add a nice depth of flavour to it, umami flavour. In goes the beans. Now the beans are completely drained. They go in. I'm going to pop in a generous teaspoon of this lovely whole grain mustard. That gives a wonderful texture. And I'm going to put in all this chopped mint, so it's a good pinch of chopped fresh garden mint. And if you're not growing these things in your garden or a little window box, I strongly advise that you do, because garden mint, freshly picked, is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And the aromas I'm getting right now are pretty amazing. So I'm going to put in, about a dessert spoonful worth of vinegar. And that's apple cider vinegar. You can use any apple cider or white wine vinegar in there. And let's give it a good old stir. Make sure everything's mixed. If you stir it at this stage before you add the mayonnaise, you'll find it a bit easier. There you go, that's nicely mixed. Now the last thing that goes in is the mayonnaise, and if you're going to ask for amounts, I'm going to disappoint you, because that's subjective. It depends how creamy, how mayonnaisey you like it. You can add a mixture of mayonnaise and sour cream if you like. Its shelf life will be reduced if you add sour cream, but it will still be good. So what's that? That's a couple of tablespoons of mayonnaise at this stage, and I'll stir that in and see what it turns out like. Lovely summer salad, this. And for vegetarians and vegans, it's a kind of a main course salad, as long as vegans use an eggless mayonnaise. So that's still a little bit watery for my taste. It's nice, but I'm just going to put another little blob of mayonnaise in there, like that. And that will be plenty, and that's it. And stir that in well. Make sure you chill it again before you serve it. And you'll find that the mint in there really pulls out the flavours. And I'll leave you with a couple of pictures of that served up. Enjoy.